What's cracking, everybody? My name is Mr. Berger,
And this is your boy Shoryuken.
and today I'm going to be interviewing Shoryuken about his awesome free-to-play mortar deck. Now, he has gotten to 4,600 with this deck. It's mostly commons with a couple rares. Do we have any epics in there? It looks like the Tornado is an epic. So yeah, it's a great deck. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, your game name is Shoryuken. What's your real name?
Gabriel.
Awesome, Gabriel. Hey, my name's Gabriel too, so we got two Gabriels in the house tonight. Awesome. Tell me a little bit about your gaming history. Like, did you play any other games before Clash Royale, and kind of what led you up to playing Clash Royale?
Yeah, like I was mainly playing Clash of Clans for a while. Like I'm maxed out Channel 9 right now.
Nice.
I've been playing Call of Duty a lot too.
Cool.
But then I quit. Started playing the Nintendo Switch a lot. So yeah, like that's all.
Awesome, bro. That's good to hear. I played Clash of Clans for a little bit, and eventually switched over to this, and pretty much Clash Royale's been one of my go-to games since then. So have you played this game since release then?
Since global release.
Since global release. Okay, cool. Awesome. Good to know. Alright, so let's talk about your deck now. So what would you say is your main win condition in this deck? I know it might be obvious, but go ahead and let us know.
The mortar.
The mortar. Obviously, yes, the mortar is your main win condition. Would you say that you have any alternate win conditions in this deck?
No.
No? Okay, so you're mostly relying on the mortar to take out towers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So otherwise it looks like it's mostly cycle cards, and then of course you do have the rocket in there, so I guess you could potentially finish off a tower with a rocket if you needed.
Yep.
Alright, awesome. So let's talk about the fact that it's almost all commons, right? I see one rare, which is the rocket, one epic, which is the tornado. Is everything else in there a common?
Yep.
Awesome. So what would you say is the advantage of playing almost all commons with just like one rare and one epic?
Well, you can like get them really high up. Like it's really good for ladders.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's totally really good for ladder, because commons are the easiest cards to request and to level up and to max out and all of that. So that's basically the advantage of having this deck that includes mostly commons. Alright, let's talk about your opening moves. So what would be your ideal first hand? Like, if you could choose anywhere between 1 to 4 of your starting cards, what would they be?
Well, mortar, rocket, archers, and tornado spell probably.
Okay, cool. So you got it down. That's your ideal starting hand. And then once you got that ideal starting hand, what's generally your first play?
Like the cycle ice spirit, or like play mortar defensive once they place down a pump or something like that.
Okay, cool. So play mortar defensively. Do you like to play mortar defensively often, or is that something you don't do too often?
And I don't like playing it defensively too often. But like for a hog, yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, totally. I do see that it does have the potential to shut down a Hog Rider really well, as most defensive structures do. Now, if you don't have your ideal starting hand, what would you generally do? Would you like cycle to get to it, or what do you think?
Yeah, I'll just cycle my ice spirit or 9 in the back to see what they have, if they do anything.
Alright, yeah, sounds good. So Ice Spirit or Knight would be your cycle cards. Do you like splitting archers or splitting bats?
Yeah, I like splitting archers a lot.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a really solid play. It looks like you're going to finish off the match here, so why don't we go ahead and jump into the next replay, alright? Before I continue on with the little interview thing that we're doing here. Give him a thumbs up, I like that, keeping it positive. So we're going to do the versus the Boulder Graveyard deck. Alright, so now that we know about your opening moves, I want to talk a little bit about how you would play differently in single Elixir versus double Elixir time. So what do you think? What do you have to say on that?
Like in single Elixir, I'll just play it slowly, and in double Elixir, I just spam.
Spam? So what, spam just like to cycle back to your mortar, you mean?
Cycle back to mortar really fast.
Yeah, okay. And do you ever find yourself rocket cycling to finish them off?
In this match.
I'm sorry?
Like in this match.
Yeah, okay. So, let's see. Single Elixir, you're going to play a little bit more defensively, you said?
Yep.
So that's generally when you would use your mortar on defense as well.
Yep.
So I noticed that because this is such a low-cost deck, it's only 3 Elixir cost, you could cycle really quickly to your win condition. You got a bunch of cards that are really cheap. So do you often find yourself with 2 mortars on the field at once?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
2 or 3? Really? So where? Okay, first one you're going to place at the bridge, right? Second one you're going to place in the center. Where do you place your third mortar?
Like next to the bridge or something like that.
Just kind of like next to the first one, in between maybe?
Yep.
So you get all 3 locked onto the tower at once?
Yep.
Oh, dude. Okay, you gotta send me a clip sometime when you do that. That would be awesome. I want to see that.
I don't know, but yeah, it has happened before.
Okay, cool. Yeah, totally. All right. So now that we've talked about that, let's talk about difficult matchups. What would you say is one of or a few of your most difficult matchups, and how would you handle said matchup?
Yeah, like, this matchup right now, it's like a really hard one because it has Bowler and Knight in it.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want to talk about this replay specifically for a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now you got the baby dragon. It looks like you used bats defensively. I like how you use the bats all around the baby dragon. Completely shuts it down. 4 elixir for your 2. So definitely a positive elixir trade.
Like right now, I'm just cycling to my motor.
Cycling. I see that. Okay, he's got the bowler there. Oh, it's in the minimum range. So what do you think of that minimum range? You consider it a nerf, right? When they reduce the minimum range?
Yeah, because right there it was locked onto the tower.
Yeah, exactly. It would have locked on the tower, but instead it went to the bowler. So it's these heavier decks that you would say are kind of more difficult for you?
Yep.
It looks like you got a lot to answer his graveyard there. He's sending in the naked graveyard. I don't know how I feel about that. It's really easy to answer a graveyard that's sent in alone. You generally want to combo it with like a tank or something like that.
Yeah, right there. Just play.
Yeah. Alright, so let's see here. It looks like you're kind of just playing defense, playing passively, and then maybe cycling back to your mortar.
Yeah, I missed the goblin right there.
Oh yeah, you did. Bat.
Not playing that much.
I'm sorry?
Not playing poison.
Yeah, he's not playing poison that much, yeah.
And right here, I started rocketing him out. Because he keeps on playing Bowler and Elixir was very close together. Like that.
Yeah, he does, huh? Oh, look at that, dude. Look at that tornado rocket combo. You got the bowler, you got the E-Wiz, and you got the tower. That's huge value right there.
Yeah, and he kept on doing that for the rest of the match, too.
Yeah, really. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind, and this is a really good tip, something that I see you doing here is comboing that tornado and that rocket a lot, getting huge value out of it. Right now you're going to do it again? Yeah. Oh yeah, I see it, dude. You got the rocket, you got the tornado, here it is. And see, you always pull them into the tower there, right? And that way you're able to get massive value, because not only do you basically get a positive elixir trade by, you know, using 6 of yours on his 10, but you're also getting a ton of damage off on his princess tower.
Yep.
So really there he used the knight. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's really, really good value.
And dude, just like we were talking about, you did that rocket cycle, right? So yep. It feels like to me that is almost an alternate win condition in its own. You can jump in and rocket cycle if you have to. Alright, so as we can see, difficult matchups were probably bigger beatdown decks. Let's talk about a couple other difficult matchups. You told me earlier that kind of some of the heavy beatdown, like maybe Golem decks or even Royal Giant decks, are ones that give you problems. Do you want to talk about that really quickly?
Yeah, I really don't like Royal Giant. It's really clutch at night draw. I usually draw them.
So Royal Giant, you see him a lot probably because you play this deck on ladder a lot. He's definitely like a ladder heavy card.
Yeah.
So you usually just try to play for the draw, as you said. Do you have a chance to win against Royal Giant, or is it generally you just know going into it like, okay, this is going to be a draw?
Unless I outcycle them, no.
Oh, outcycle, yeah. So it depends. If they have a heavy deck, then you might get a chance to outcycle them and, you know, like place your win condition down quicker than theirs.
Yep. Like I sometimes replace Rocket of Graveyard.
Really? In this deck?
Yeah.
Graveyard Mortar. That sounds fun. We'll have to save that for another video, but we'll definitely try that out. So, what about like Golem or Lava Hound or P.E.K.K.A., like the really heavy decks? What do you do in that case?
For Golem, I just tornado their Golem to my King's Tower and just rush the other lane.
Yeah. Yep, I love it. I love Tornado, bro. Tornado's like one of the best cards, if not the best card in the game. It has so much potential. So
yeah, it's one of the most versatile cards.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it has so many different uses. I mean, it's been nerfed once. They reduced the duration from 3 seconds down to 2.5, but it still plays a lot of the same roles because you can still pull like a tank, like you said, a Golem, or like a Hog into your King Tower, which is like one of the major things that it does.
Yep, and for P.E.K.K.A.s, like sometimes I replace Knight of Guards for them. And guards are really good too. I feel like they're really underrated.
Yeah, okay, here's my thought on guards. If you don't mind, I'm going to talk about it really quickly. They were really weak for a long time, and then they got this massive buff, and now they're super strong, and I've seen them a lot more lately, but I feel like they just haven't really, like you said, they're kind of underrated. Like, people haven't quite figured out how strong they are yet because they were weak for so long.
Yeah, like, it's like the Royal Giant. Like, it was really crap at the beginning, and like they buffed it a lot, and now it's nerfed again. So
yeah,
people a lot because it's the common.
Yeah, it's a common. It's the same thing with E-Barbs, bro. It's the E-Barbs, it's the Royal Giant, and honestly, it's the Mortar in your case too. It's like these major win conditions that you can just over level, and they're just super OP when they're over leveled like that because they're commons. They're easy to level.
Yep, and like people really don't like Mortar that much because like they think it's only spam. Like no people.
Well, do you think that it has a relatively high or low skill cap? Like, do you think it's hard to be really good at it, or is it easy to be good at it? Pretty low?
It's really easy to be good at it.
Okay, that's good to hear. And over here you just finish him off with the rocket. A little bit of an overkill, but it's the spell that you have in hand, so you might as well use it. Alright, let's talk really quickly about card replacements, and we don't have to spend too much time on that. But then after that, we'll kind of just jump into talking about the specific replay and the interactions and the choices that you're making. So, card replacements. Obviously, you can't replace the Mortar. Would you slap an X-Bow in there and play all the same cards otherwise?
Yeah, probably, but X-Bow is an epic card.
Yeah, it is. It is, yeah, definitely an epic card. But if you haven't a high-level X-Bow and you'd rather play X-Bow over Mortar, do you think that this deck would work with an X-Bow in it?
Yeah, sure, but I would have Tesla with it too.
I'm sorry?
Tesla too with it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Alright, let's see. Knight. Would you place another mini-tank in there? Like, I'm thinking Valkyrie or Ice Golem.
Yeah, Ice Golem, but I like guards a lot with it.
Okay. And for your other cards, like, I'm looking at Ice Spirit, Bats, Archers. I feel like those are all just kind of like cycle cards. Would you put, like, Skeletons? You said guards in the place of Knight, right? Not in the place of, like, Bats?
For Knight. For Bats, I wouldn't really replace them. They're really strong right now.
Yeah, you think so, even though they got nerfed recently?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Alright, Ice Spirit. I love Ice Spirit, dude. He's so unique. He only costs 1, and he has so much potential for positive Elixir trades. Would you swap him out for anything?
No, not really.
Not really.
It's really good for Minion Horde too. Because you just like Minion Horde Zap or Minion Horde Tornado and it's gone.
Yup. Exactly. Just use your Ice Spirit on the Minion Horde and then Tornado it or Zap it and it's gone. Or even if you're running Ice Golem in the place of Knight, the death damage from the Ice Golem plus an Ice Spirit will shut down a Minion Horde. It's awesome.
Yep.
What about your heavy spell? Would you replace the rocket with a poison or a fireball or even like a lightning?
Yeah, rocket's kind of bad because of the damage nerf they did.
Yeah. So what do you think? Fireball?
Yeah, fireball or poison would be really good.
Do you think poison's really good for this deck? I just feel like it's more about that like instant damage.
It's like out of the ordinary for this deck.
Yeah.
Like it's meant for like giant beatdown and poison and graveyard.
Right. Yeah. So probably fireball, but poison is meta heavy. It's not bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So that's mostly card replacements. I don't think we want to place Tornado with anything. Maybe like, I don't know, a Tesla or something like that.
Yeah, Tesla would be good.
Tesla, okay. That would be our replacement if you don't have Tornado, considering that it is an epic card. Alright, let's talk about your choices here. Look at those 4 archers there.
And then this matchup was kind of easy, but it's usually a hard matchup, but this guy kind of sucks with it.
Well, that's alright. You know what, man? Maybe you're just too good for him. Well, at this point, you got the Mortar locked on.
Yeah, like he never distracts my Mortar. That's the problem. Like he never distracts like Knight or Giant, and he doesn't play it that well.
Yeah, so you're able to pretty much just outcycle him, play defense, get positive Elixir trades, and you just finish it off there with the Mortar and the rocket.
Yep.
All right, so go ahead and you can do most of the talking for this one. I'll try not to talk as much, but I'll still ask you a few questions, and you can tell me kind of where you went wrong and how you could have done things better. So what are you doing for an opener here?
Yeah, I'd put Knight or... Yeah, I'll put Mortar right now because he puts the Giant in the left side.
Mm-hmm. Do you like...
This Giant trick is super meta.
Yeah. Do you like opening with Mortar usually, or is that not usually an opening move? Like, first move?
Yeah, opening move if they, like, play a tank on the side.
Uh-huh.
But one of the moves I hate is putting the Musketeer in the corner.
Uh-huh.
I can't really do anything about it.
Yeah. Oh...
the mini pick was in the way. I was gonna turn it to my king tower.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Otherwise, then the mini P.E.K.K.A would have just destroyed your princess tower, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's see. What are you gonna do here? It looks like he has a little bit more elixir, so you guys are both kind of just hanging on. Yeah, you can see he's already in the lead here. Maybe you spent a little bit too much on defense. I'm not sure. But let's see. What do you decide to do next? Probably mortar again.
I put archers for the miner, or no wait, I ignored the miner so I could just play my mortar.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I opt to do stuff like that. I'm like, whatever, just take the damage so that you can invest the elixir in something else. Look at that mortar shot. It hit the musketeer. That was good.
Yeah, I picked the musketeer was aiming for the mortar.
Yeah.
And that was really good zap.
That was a good zap on his part?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
The mortar would have got like 2 or 3 shots in.
Uh-huh.
But his cards are kind of low level for level 13.
Yeah, maybe he's a fresh level 13, or he's playing cards like an unusual deck, and that's why he's a little bit lower.
You know, like right here we have the same elixir.
Yeah, you do. Oh, you got the mortar locked on too, so you got some solid damage going here.
I didn't really see him play poison that much.
Yeah, you know, maybe he didn't see that it was necessary, because, I don't know, you do have a lot of cheap cards that could be susceptible to it, unless you're cycling your cards so that they're never in the same spot, you know what I mean, which is kind of what you want to do.
Yeah, right here I like some elixir.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was really good poison in this
There
part.
you go. Yeah, see, he got your archers, he got your mortar, he got your princess tower. Yeah, that was a really good one, huh?
I was debating whenever to use the rocket.
Oh, I see. Because you're investing a lot of elixir in that if you do choose to use it.
Yeah, and the problem in this matchup is like I didn't really do anything about the miner.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept on getting so much, and that right there was a misplay by him.
How so?
He left the mortar lock on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, you almost have him here, bro. Look at that. Like, if you just had enough elixir to rocket, you would have got him. That was really close.
Yeah, I figured out musketeer for that musketeer. I turned it and then to the other side, and it wasn't really doing anything.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on, dude. Really quickly before you go and we call it a video, I want to say that I added my social media links into my layout here. So I got a Facebook, an Instagram, and a Twitter account for my channel now. And Shoryuken, go check out his channel too. Do you have any other social media accounts going yet, or is it just the channel for now?
Yeah, just the channel for now, and maybe Plex Chat.
Yeah, Plex Chat. Okay, cool. Yeah, check him out on Plex Chat. I'm on Plex Chat too. I got Reddit going on here too, so check me out on any of those. Thanks so much for coming on, man, and thank you for having me on your channel as well. I really appreciate it. And do you want to do any shout-outs before we call it a video here?
Yeah, shout out to the Tomahawk. He really helped me out with my YouTube channel.
For sure, man. So yeah, so shout out to the Tomahawk. He's been a great help to Shoryuken for setting up his channel. Go check out his channel if you haven't already, and subscribe to him, and of course subscribe to me if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a good night.